Hey there, gorgeous gays! Version 2 here with Let's watch, I guess, Final Fantasy XIV. We're not playing it yet. We did one video way back, quite a few months ago at this point, of the Endwalker benchmark, where I created my character for the game that I haven't started playing yet. And today, on this glorious day of the 5th of December, where everyone is queuing up infinitely to get into Endwalker and no one's getting into the servers, I'm deciding I'm not going to play the game just yet. One, because I didn't pre-order it and it's in early access and I can't. But two, I need to catch up on the lore. The very important lore that is Final Fantasy XIV 1.0. The thing that doesn't exist anymore and that Yoshi P's gone on record saying it's never coming back because it'd be a fucking nightmare to do. So there's stuff that I know about Final Fantasy 1.0. I've seen the End of an Era video before. Like, I've watched that before. So I know how it goes from 1.0 to 2.0, aka A Realm Reborn. I've seen that. I don't know anything else about it. I've heard that it wasn't great, and that's why they literally destroyed the entire game and world and restarted it. I don't know why it wasn't great, whether it was a story or a gameplay thing or anything like that, but, like, it's been reborn into the biggest fucking MMO on the planet at this point, that has been memed so hard that I'm gonna be playing an MMO based on a series that I know very few games on, because I know Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that's it, and I guess Kingdom Hearts. But, like, there's a lot of stuff about Final Fantasy XIV that I hear that's exciting, right? We did a video that was just me making my character, and it was, like, 2 hours long, and I went into that having a joke that I was going to name my character Fuckfist. Just as a joke, as, like, a silly idea, and I'm just like, oh, maybe I'll make a dragon bard, because I like that idea, right? And then I read through I read through every character and every variation of every race of all of the different background stuff like that. And we came up with a character and then spent like an hour looking up lore accurate names so I could name the character Fuckfist, because it's still me at the end of the day. So that alone is just like, I think that's a good sign for the world building and everything of this, that it's interesting. Because I spent 2 hours on the character creator. Not because I couldn't decide what my character should look like. That wasn't that hard. But deciding what lore background I want was the important thing. And obviously hearing a lot of stuff about Final Fantasy XIV, about how much, like, how better it is than other MMOs, all of the quality of life features, the way they listen to the community and stuff like that, and how positive everyone who plays the game is about it. Like, I'm very excited to do it. But I need the lore. I need the lore about how shit was terrible before. Looking at actual gameplay problems is a whole other video series I can recommend. 1.0 is a very fascinating history on the development side, at least. Interesting. Maybe not something before, like, I get into Realm Reborn, because I won't have as much context for it, but that. So, still this point, we didn't spell it with a Y. Well, to be fair, like, the character's name isn't Fuckfist. It is the Rogadin translation for Fuckwist, which is Usun Blightwind. And the wind part is because female and there's stuff like that. No, Usun Blightwind's the last name. Minafist is the first name, which I'm probably also mispronouncing. Sir, dost thou even heft? My character definitely lifts. My character is so fucking huge. How much you never shut up about it? Just, you mean Final Fantasy XIV? To be fair, Densha, you weren't the only person who memed me into playing this. You're not the only person who has memed me into playing this. And stuff like that. There was a big message and it disappeared. Okay. Maybe spoilers and stuff, I don't know. How nice and quality of life 14 is. It's funny that you remember that 11 was the hardcore MMO, didn't respect the player all their time, and made you fight for every inch. Right, yeah, Final Fantasy 11 was an MMO. I also keep forgetting that. I keep thinking that 12 is the MMO, but no, that's like the party combat one. Zodiac Age or whatever, what else? Talking about Persona 4? Yeah, not the time for it. Not the time for it. I'm in a happy mood, so I want to talk about Persona 4. But yes, so we have 3 videos here. Very interesting timing to do this, because we're gonna start by watching the Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 trailer. This was released like a few days ago. wasn't it? Wasn't this released a few days ago? I saw people mentioning, it was either Discord or Twitter, I don't remember. But I saw people mentioning that this was like re-released a few days ago. Like, isn't it? Yeah, November 30th, 2021. What? Why? FF11 or FF14 1.0. Neither. We're gonna do Realm Reborn. Why was this trailer for 1.0 released so recently? They remade it or something. For some reason they didn't have the 1.0 channel on the 14 channel, so they decided to upload it right before Endwalker for some reason. For some reason! Isn't Endwalker meant to be the Kingdom Hearts 3 of Final Fantasy XIV? It's not remade, this is the original trailer. Oh, okay. I've heard, like, Final Fantasy XIV is a weird fucking game because I follow so many people on Twitter who talk about it, and I don't think any of them are, like, hiding any care about hiding spoilers in any capacity, which is something I will say about, I mean, I say Final Fantasy XIV community. It might just be the people I follow on Twitter. But there's so many people who will, like, openly talk about endgame stuff in Final Fantasy XIV, and I see it, and I'm just like, I have no context for this, so it's hard to even be spoiled by this screen that's just a billion flashing lights with people going, oh my god, no way! Or people just being like, oh my god, I love this dialogue, and the entire picture is just 95% Catboy face, tiniest little writing that even when I blow up the image on Twitter, I can't fucking read. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw people mentioning that this was like a new trailer, and that this is like, it's like, oh shit, is this meant to be because Endwalker's like the end of the saga that Realm Reborn's been building up to, so like, I don't know. Yeah, it's ending the story arc has been built since Realm Reborn. Yeah, that's what I've heard from people. So does showing the 1.0 trailer now just be like, oh, secret tease. They're gonna Realm Reborn the shit at the end of Endwalker again. So anyway, we're gonna watch this. Yell at me about volume because I'm always really bad at this. I'm gonna leave it on half for the time being. But yell at me about whether it's too loud or too loud or too I am there. And let me know, and yay. So here's the trailer, then we're watching a lore video, and then we're watching End of an Era, which I have seen End of an Era before. Giant crystal, let's say giant crystal, no. The painting shot perspective just made it look really big. Alright, I'm already seeing cat girls. I'm seeing multiple cat girls. I'm seeing potatoes. I can tell it's Final Fantasy XIV just on that. And yo, there was an actual Rogan in there. Hell yeah, let's go. See, I know my shit. From the character creator and nothing else. Realm rose from the ashes. Phoenixes get it. I'm literally wearing a shirt that says this today. I know. Oh boy, the Derplander? What? I honestly thought he was about to get out a horny bat and
How long
bonker.
must we wait? I grow weary of the company.
The feeling, my dear, is mutual.
Aha! What do we have here? No job is too daunting as long as the coin is good.
Trading cards?
You'd sell your own mother if the coin was good.
Girls could be,
My father too.
and other men could be
Now
Rose. They had
quiet
Femra
down
on Cowboys and
help
Realm
me
Reborn.
decide.
Then it took them a long ass time to add bunny
I have
boys.
no particular preference.
And now everyone's a bunny boy.
And why does that not surprise me?
I like the idea. They go into distant realms.
Choose as you will,
for
madame.
journeys to find out that Catboys exist.
Look out! He's right on top of us! Move, lass, move!
Oh shit! It's like that thing from fucking I've seen it. I've seen a shot like this. This was used in fucking 7 Remake. He's been sent to the Shadow Realm. Hey, Potato. Oh, Jesus! That's a giant Elder Toro. That thing is gross. Also, this scene is much lighter than the last scene. Grab that bow and shoot people. You do have a quiver on your back. Hey, someone with a sword and shield. This is not what my character's gonna use, but hell yeah, sword and shield. Where's all my monster hunter defense? We're gonna fight Rathalos in this game. Do keep in mind. Hell yeah, go Legolas! I feel like I've seen this thing before. Isn't this thing in the Final Fantasy 6? I feel like I saw this in the Final Fantasy 16 with the combat. Marlboro enemy. Yeah, I was about to say. I feel like I've seen this in the 16 Final Fantasy 16 stuff they've shown. Like that, like it looks familiar to that when they're showing off like how fucking sick the combat in 16 is. Yo, enchant the arrow, let's go. Or more bow, depending on the game, long repairing combat. Okay. Yo, Marlboro got fucked up. Damn. These people are squad. Oh no! What just flew in? See in the back of it, what's that connected to? Oh, it's not connected to anything, it is just flying like that. Okay. Okay. Thanks for the assist. Thanks for the assist, you flying, like arsenal chimneys, I guess. Inefficient flying machine gun. Oh shit, now they're being blown up. That's what they get for being inefficient. So this was the trailer. Was this the first thing they ever showed off of Final Fantasy XIV? Because goddamn. I appreciate trailers where the very first time they show you it, it's just like a shitload of like world building stuff. Obviously no gameplay or anything like that, but it's that trailer stuff. Arsenal chimney? They're arsenal chimneys. That's what I'm gonna call them. Jesus Christ! It's a very ugly shit. It has an upside down city on it, on the bottom of it. Like, obviously, it falls into the nature of, like, first trailer for a game. Doesn't show any gameplay. You don't know what the game's like and stuff like that. But, like, if your first trailer is going to be a cinematic thing like this that's, like, 8 minutes long, sure. When the first trailer is, like, 2 minutes and no gameplay, then it's just like, okay, what are you even showing us? Alright, this is a very, very dangerous battle in the sky. Raining down death everywhere. Something Mario Odyssey, but top hat. Yeah, so these are the Cappy ships, but they're like the real tall pipe hats. And they're being flown around and chased by that thing from Phantom Dragoon or whatever it's called. And it's hard to do gameplay, to be fair. Oh, very much so, yeah. Like, you show off, the very first thing that you show off is just an isometric camera angle of a billion things on a hotbar and people standing there while lights flashing. Yeah, it's well, this probably sells your game better. Yeah, this giant fucking dragon that's just taking down the ship probably does better. Okay, so the war that is going on right here, is there just like a million sides to this? You got these jobbers who are taking on this fucking Marlboro. Meanwhile, arsenal chimneys are coming in, attacking this giant ship. Giant ship then gets attacked by a giant dragon. Is this world, before it was reborn, just in perpetual hell? And whatever that was is summoning and sending a bunch of monsters down to the planet.
Look who's returned from his reverie.
So nice of you to join us again.
Damn. There's some strong shit in the brew they got here.
Well, don't keep us in suspense.
This one. We'll start with this one.
Ah, he speaks.
Can we go now?
You need a fourth. Squads are always in four. Fuck this, I'm gonna play Magic the Gathering.
Let us
Maybe.
guard something to sing about.
Maybe murdering things isn't for me. Cards are a hell of a drug. This is your brain on Yu-Gi-Oh! This is all of the Satan panic they had around that. Yeah, it was that. Final Fantasy XIV Online. Oh, I thought this image was for specifically A Realm Reborn. I guess I chose the right one. I searched up just Realm Reborn logo and I got this colored thing that you see behind the chat box right now. So I thought that was Realm Reborn. But apparently it's for the actual 1.0, so I just chose correctly. Accidentally when I didn't mean to. Its guards are actually supposed to be a major gameplay feature of 1.0. They came back a bit in Realm Reborn, but they're mostly forgotten by this point. Oh, but what about Gwen? What if people want to play their Gwent? I haven't played The Witcher. I just know that people love the shit out of Gwent. I mean, definitely an interesting trailer. Shows off like a lot of Final Fantasy stuff, and again, it looks like there is a forever war going on of just a billion sides fighting each other. I will say, and obviously if this is an older shit trailer, it might just be quality of the time. The way the faces and mouths move and talk compared to the actual like words that they're saying don't feel super synced up. But also that might just be an English localization, didn't put that much money into that part of it. They use that logo for both, represents all the classes. Oh, okay, so it's the logo for 1.0 and Realm Reborn. Because I know the others have like different logos. Because like I've seen like the Shadowbringers or Endwalker where it's got like a dark dramatic person with like a giant lance next to them or something like that. So yeah, I thought yeah, I didn't realize it was that. Cards essentially represent major repeatable quests that you could group up with for other players. You're telling me that giant war that they were gonna do was a repeatable quest? God damn. God damn. So it is a forever war. It is a forever war of all sides if it's a repeatable job. Quests. I keep forgetting that jobs are like the classes and quests are, yeah. Is that a Final Fantasy specific thing, or is that like a lot of different RPGs use job to describe classes? Because I've always found that a weird term. It's Mario 64, but the paintings are very small. You just gotta dive headfirst into the table. You won't get knocked out. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Final Fantasy has used jobs to describe its classes since 3 on the NES, at least. So other RPGs don't do it. It's just Final Fantasy that's confused. Because I don't get why it's called a job. Job's pretty common. Why is it called job? Why job? I mean, like, I get the idea is, like, because that's what you do to earn money and stuff like that, but surely your job would be more of being just an overall general sorts, like, weapon for hire / mercenary. You just have different specialities, which are your class. I don't understand. I will always get confused by this. Anyway, here is Final Fantasy 14, FF14, A Realm Reborn. Story, The Waning of the Sixth Sun. So what was this bonus disc thing? Yeah, bonus disc with came with like a collector's edition of something. We were gonna watch a fan-made version that was basically summarizing 1.0 lore, and then Densha like found that this existed. So this is official summary of all of the shit that you need to know before going into Realm Reborn, from my understanding. Or at least it covers 1.0. I don't know. But here's actual story. It's also a rip from a Blu-ray.
Eorzea.
Oh,
A land embraced by gods.
Has anyone
and
seen
forged
with
by
6 Sons?
heroes. The bountiful
Duna
ether
just shoved
that
over there.
flows through this lush
But I saw
realm
this cutscene.
has ensured the peace and prosperity of its peoples for
Alright guys, hardcore on the lore of
generations.
this game, but he goes way more in depth, but it's a very solid
But
explanation.
peace
Okay.
was never
Isn't that like a
wont to
3-hour thing though?
last.
Oh, Dragon Quest also does it. Okay.
The Guardian
I was related to the
Empire
character.
began to amass a mighty army,
That makes sense, though.
hoping to wrest control over the realm and her resources.
Ah, so like most empires, they're colonialist as fuck. Got it! Okay.
And in the year 1557 of the 6th Astral Era, the Empire's metal-clad warriors commenced their march south. Resistance was mounted, but to little avail, and it was not long before the city-state of Alamigo fell.
So they are colonialists. Got it.
Unsatisfied with their prize, the Garleans pressed on towards the heart of
So the
Eorzea.
the
With their
Gallians
colossal dreadnought, the Agrius, at the fore,
are the ones who have the Arsenal
Imperial
tributes.
army arrived at Silvertear Falls, only to find Midgard Zorma, keeper of the lake, awoken from a centuries-long slumber. Nor was he alone. A fierce aerial contest ensued twixt machine and dragon, at the close of which the invincible Imperial fleet was put to rout. This would come to be known as the Battle of Silvertear Sky.
So basically, this dragon that's protector of the land stopped the invading, conquering army from invading and conquering. Okay. There'll be a test after this? Fuck! Fuck!
To add to the Garleans' woes, they found that the beast tribes native to Eorzea had somehow regained the ability to summon their long-dormant gods, the Primals. Lacking the means to slay these undying beings, the
They made
Empire
materia.
called a halt to its
No.
planned conquest and withdrew behind the walls of Alamico.
This looks like
And
endgame.
after 5 long years of strife, the flames of war died down, leaving only embers which smoldered quietly as the Garleans licked their wounds and the beast tribes tested the limits of their newfound
Remind me
power.
not to Google the name
It
of
was
whatever
thus
this
that
character is
Eorzea slipped
on
into the
stream.
age
I'll
of
get banned
calm,
from Twitch.
during which an uneasy peace prevailed. The age, however, was anything but
I was about to say, it says
calm.
uneasy
In their
peace. How's that
wisdom,
called the age of calm?
Eorzea's leaders
This, it sounds like you're in the middle of a
established
cold
network
war.
of guilds for the greater good of the realm. The members of these guilds were to devote themselves to no single material or martial craft, but endeavor to embrace all that they might better serve the realm's immediate need.
Lore reasoning for why characters can be a jack of all trades and you don't need to restart your entire
They
character to
would
be able to learn a
called
new job.
simply adventurers.
They had really high heels for some reason. Because it intimidated the Garleans and threatened them away.
It was not until 1572, 10 summers removed from their defeat at Mor Dona, that the Garleans finally broke their silence. Gaius van Belsar, architect of the fall of Alamigo, was joined then by Nael van Darnus, their legions combining to form a force the like of
So,
which
like, are they
Eorzea
wearing
had
armor or do
never
the Garleans just look like
and
that?
just as quickly as the conquest had ended, so it began anew.
Because I see like a little mouth underneath the skull armored. Okay,
To
because I was gonna say, I
ready
see a little mouth
themselves
under
for the
that.
coming conflict, the city
bred a bunch of chickens.
Lominsa, Gridania, and Uldar
Limsa, Lominsa,
reinstated
these
the
nuts!
grand companies, organizations with executive power to call upon the sum of the Commonwealth's military
sounds
and
dumb.
economic might.
Here's some in-game cutscenes
The grand company
that the company themselves couldn't record at higher than 480p.
knowing that they could not withstand
The game may
the
not have been higher
aggression
than
of
480p,
two
you can look at
armies and the emboldened beast tribes alone. It was around this time that a well-meaning scholar from the city-state of Charlian, one Louis-Sois Levelieu, bore word to Eorzea's leaders of the advent of a new threat.
He sounds very French. Louis Soilevieux? Slightly French.
Would
I'm not
that
reading
I
all of that.
had
You're
done
not giving me
so
enough time.
sooner. It was my belief that if the primals were
Oh,
suffered
the
to
narrator's
remain,
that dude.
they would seek out and devour the realm's crystals, draining the planet of its very lifeblood, and condemning her children to a fate worse than death.
Narrator
Moved
pronunciation
by
guy
my
on the side.
words,
Always need that for this
set
fantasy
out to
shit.
slay the primals and thereby release the hoarded ether that it might be returned to the planet.
So, we summoned the primals and went and killed them
Seventh
before the
Legion
Garleans could go
Legatus
and kill
Nael
them?
Van Darnus envisioned a different solution.
Or the
to
primals, the
primal
things-
dilemma.
That were devouring the lifeblood of the planet. It's hard to commentate on this, read chat, and also read this and get every bit of information. Might rewatch this in my own time afterwards.
Meteor, a complex scheme employing arcane magics and lost technologies to summon the planet's lesser moon down to Eorzea.
I have this weird feeling
with
that
the
every
aim
Final
of
Fantasy game
annihilating
involves
all
Meteor.
the realm in one fell stroke. Dalamud, as the celestial body was commonly known, was discovered to be a machine launched into the planet's orbit by the lost Alagon Empire several millennia before.
Fish are some primals that are threatened by viewers yet in the Garleans. Okay.
To aid them in tackling this new threat, the Grand
So the beast tribes
Companies
aren't part
turned
of
to the
Eorzea.
talents of Master Engineer and Garlean defector Sid Garland. But while we scrambled to fathom the workings of Vandonis' plan, its wheels were already
Fish tribes will be
in
goblins,
motion.
kobolds. Oh, okay.
A massive fortress dubbed Castrum Novum now stood at the heart of Eorzea, defending a transmitter which would be used to call down Dalamud. The Grand Companies independently strove to destroy the outpost.
Damn,
but
so those
each
robots
was
you can control
forced
and
to
Bayonetta too.
concede that no single city-state possessed sufficient strength to breach its iron walls. Now recognizing the futility of standing alone against such a threat, the companies put aside their differences and consolidated their forces under the banner of the Eorzean Alliance.
I like that girl because she's a female rogue. I like her.
Thus united,
Any female rogue I'm going to be a fan of because they're apparently the literal least common race in the entire game. I swear I don't keep deliberately choosing the least popular thing in every game that I play. It just happens that way. I like the stuff that isn't common because it's normally the most out there or different stuff.
At the behest of this new confederation, adventurers from across the realm infiltrated Castrum Novum, located the heavily guarded transmitter, and destroyed it.
And the moon was no longer an issue, and Terminal was
Alas,
safe.
the White Raven took flight before they could subdue him.
Yay, we saved the day. Certainly kind of feels the first use as a plot thing in 4. Well, it's like a literal spell, I know that. Fucking Behemoth summons it on you in fucking Monster Hunter.
Worse, his twisted game was still afoot. Applying ill-gotten knowledge, he activated a second signal from beneath Kurthus, a signal so powerful it fractured
ruins the
land,
frame rate.
hurling vast boulders into the air where they remained suspended.
For a sick anime final boss fight. So Damas is aware that when the moon comes down, he's gonna die too, right? Like, if it's gonna wipe out the entire land, he's aware that he's gonna die too, right? And like, that's just Adonis. And then the meteor sends down its own meteors. Fully armored Galleons, the high-ranking ones, light armored, are typically the conscripts the nations have conquered. Oh, okay.
In one
Slave
final
nation.
effort
Got
to
it.
end Nail's plan,
Remember the guns,
Alliance
the Admiral, the
selected
limbs,
a
the
small
limits
party
of
of
these
their
guns.
best
Cool. I like them.
warriors and
I
bid
like
them ride Sid
That's the city that I'm
Garvin's
starting in
airship,
14,
the
right? Like when I play it.
Enterprise, to the
Realm
floating
Reborn.
islands of Riven Road. The day of reckoning had come.
So did I say the name Sid there? The dude who chews on straw from fucking Kingdom Hearts? Freaking glory to our Lord and Master, the Moon! 1.0 is very poorly optimized, but after pieces for by the big cinematic. Amazing! I mean, to the point where it seems like even the fucking devs couldn't record it at high quality. Fucking hilarious. I'm starting to see some reasons why this game may have gotten rebooted. So it's another trope? Oh yeah, no, there's Titty Sid. Yeah, because there's Titty Sid in 15. Yeah, no, I've seen this, yeah. I should get around to playing other Final Fantasy games. Like, there's no point in playing them in numbered order, so I can play them in whatever the fuck order I want. But I should play more of them. I'm making no promises on playing all of them, because, Jesus Christ. But, yeah. Yo! Darnus is dead, and the moon stopped, and Termina was safe for yet another day. The moon is growing spikes. Moon's growing spikes.
And the day went to the Alliance.
Yay, we did it, we won. Yay! We all celebrate. But it's more like, dumbass, got him!
But the
Correct!
celebration proved short-lived, as it soon became clear that Vandonis' death had not served to slow Dalamud's descent.
I mean, no, at some point when it gets close
Impact
enough,
was
it's gonna be
imminent.
like, just
The
gravity.
seventh Umbral era was about to begin, an age of suffering. No course remained, save one.
Blow up the moon! We're fucking one of those many movies that Hollywood makes about flying astronauts into
perform a
space.
summoning, not unlike those practiced by the beast tribes, yet on a far grander scale, to seek the power of the 12. The price
I'll just
of
get
such
every
a
god.
deed would be great.
Just get literally
and could have
every god.
grave consequences for the planet.
But so would
the
a meteor
Alliance
hitting
could
it.
not deny my
But so would a
reasoning.
meteor hitting the
Must be
planet, so like...
In preparation,
Shit, gravity
I
still exists.
entreated the
Fuck, it's close
realm's
enough that it's not in a stable
adventurers to
orbit
pray
anymore.
at holy
This one dude
monuments
didn't control
in
gravity, it
hopes
turns
that
out.
their prayers
Fuck.
might stir the slumbering gods. I, meanwhile, proceeded to the Cartano Plains.
This is Sid in
where
every game.
Dalamud
I'm excited
was
to
predicted to fall
beat every Final
and
Fantasy game
began
and make a
the
tier
rite.
list of Sids. I'm very excited for this.
The 7th Legion,
In, you know,
oblivious to
2058.
their fallen leader's dark intentions, had also begun gathering in central Eorzea, ordered to defend the area with their lives.
So the Gallians actually came in and
They
helped?
fought, not knowing that victory would bring them death as assuredly as defeat.
Oh no, they
And
were trying
amid
to...
the
No, the
ensuing
Gallians didn't know.
carnage, The curtain began
Okay.
to rise upon the 7th Umbral era.
Oh yeah, the Gallians didn't know that the war that they were fighting was to get the planet destroyed. Are we just gonna see End of an Era now? Are they just gonna show the entirety of an End of an Era now, or is that... Because isn't this how End of an Era starts?
The people of Eorzea could only watch in horror as vast fragments of the falling satellite peeled away and rained down upon the land, wreaking untold devastation. At Cartano, both sides fought with a frenzy unmatched.
I think this is just End of an Era,
neither
but
giving the other any
narrated.
ground.
Yeah, no, it is. Because this is the song that plays during it too.
Adventurers plied their blades till their lungs burned, chanted spells till they grew hoarse. They fought without regard for their own lives, thinking only to save those of others.
Maybe don't take a second to appreciate the giant meteor falling in the middle of a fight. Characters from End of an Era scene are all the same adventurers from the first trailer. Aww. Oh yeah! Potato Lalafell and the dude from that. Was that Archer the Cat Girl? Well, get fucked. I assume he's like one of the main NPC characters who's not down there fighting.
But it was all for naught. Overhead, the moon's skin of stone and steel disintegrated to reveal an elder primal free of his ancient prison.
Because no one realized that the moon was actually secretly a mech!
A great roar announced the completion of Dalamud's metamorphosis.
Look, if I had $1 for every time that an anime as fuck thing made a moon secretly a mech, I'd have at least, from my knowledge, $4. Which is hype as fuck.
The front lines dissolved as allegiances were forgotten, and both friend and foe fled as
So you
one.
gotta think about this. You gotta think about this
Enraged
cutscene from the
after
perspective of
eons
people who
of
actually
duress,
played
the
1.0.
heart vented his
Of people who
fiery
actually
wrath
played through the
upon
game
a
to stop this moon from falling for so long, defeated the big bad guy, realized that it can't happen, and then they're online on the servers of the day that the game's about to turn off.
and despair.
And
gripped
this
the
happens. Like, fucking hell. That would be, like... Imagine actually being there when that happened. Because from my understanding, even the players had no idea that the moon was actually secretly Bahamut the entire time. No characters in universe knew that, including people who were playing 1.0 at the time. Like, how fucking holy shit would this have been for people playing it at the time? It would have been mind-blowing. In the final days of the game, Dalamud was constantly visible in the game's sky. Terrifying. The connection to the server has been lost, but in the most hype way possible.
Thousand souls beseeching the 12 for one thing.
Come stop this angry fucking dragon. Dragonoid Zaku Jesus. Can Bahamut be described as any form of Jesus?
And for a moment, it seemed that the gods would answer. A prison of pure light formed around the raging primal and began to bleed the ether from his being. Alas, the wrath of Bahamut could not long be contained.
Yeah, literally the power
My
of 12
planet
gods
fell.
couldn't control
Yet
this
I
thing.
could not allow those few heroes who still fought for me to pay the price of my failure. So I summoned what was left of my strength and sent them into an ethereal rift. There they would remain, untouched by the passing of the seasons, until it was safe to return.
Bye, Louis. Damn.
To a realm
Reborn. Hey! Realm Reborn! Bahamut is Dragon God, so kinda Jesus? Bahamut is the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit of death! So from my understanding, that is end of an era. Do they actually show anything extra in end of an era? I think we just saw the entire thing then. I mean, Louis Wilder doesn't narrate that one, but yeah. If you started A Realm Reborn with a character over 1.0 character, you'd get a unique opening cutscene of your character returning from that teleport magic instead of the cutscene every new player gets nowadays. And don't you also get, like, you get some extra, like, character things that, like, make you stand out from, like, anyone who wasn't a 1.0 player? Isn't it, like, a cape or a scarf or tattoos or something like that you get? Yeah, something like that. How long was it between 1.0 going offline and, like, A Realm Reborn launching? Because I feel like that wouldn't be a quick thing. Special tattoo. Sick. I feel like it would have been... Like, I mean, it's basically redeveloping an MMO from fucking scratch. That would have been at least a couple years, right? But between one... When did 14 originally come out? Because I don't even know this. Like, how long it was between original 14 and now this and everything like that. I don't even know that shit. That is stuff I'm not even aware of. But again, like, it's cool to learn the history. It is cool to learn the history there. How much of it's going to be relevant. Like, I imagine a lot of that stuff probably won't be relevant super long after the beginning of A Realm Reborn, but it's cool to learn that stuff. Like, learning about the Garleans, how there's all the different tribes, and, like, cities and everything that work together in Eorzea. It definitely has some of those, like, fantasy elements that are always a bit shaky and stuff like that. Just like, it is the beast, and they summon the rage of the primals, and these kingdoms go and, like, conquer other lands, and it's just like, okay, but, like, every fantasy fucking story does that. Every single fantasy story does that. They were working on Realm Reborn pretty much as soon as Yoshi P took over 1.0, so it was in development alongside 1.0, still being updated and played. Well, I think with the story going the way that it was there, at some point during that, like, it wasn't like they got to the end of the story of 1.0 and then said, oh, now we're going to do this. They clearly... How far into, like, this video do they... Yeah, like, the moon is already here. Like, like, Darnus is already summoning the moon here. And this is 6 minutes into this 19-minute video. Like, they clearly realized that the, Fallout Dalamud story line started after Yoshi P took over. That's what I mean. The whole storyline of Dalamud falling was clearly deliberately designed to, from the beginning, wipe the game and start on a clean slate. So, like, Vanilla 1.0 had very minimal storyline in its base form. Oh, okay, so that's why it's... Okay. So, it was just all just like, here's the tribes and here's the Guardians and stuff like... And not much actually more happened than that. Okay. Because I was just gonna say, like... It's not a decision that they just made at the end of development or anything like that. With the way the story is going, like, they put a lot of work and a lot of effort into making this storyline go along here about just, like, finding ways to stop the moon falling, finding different ways that you have to get to the Guardians and Danos and, like, their iron fucking fortress and stuff like that. Getting all of the people to work together to stop the machine, the device that's shooting the planet down, to kill Darnus himself and stop his second device that's shooting the moon down, stuff like that. That is a lot of work and a lot of cutscenes and a lot of content to do, where the end point of all of that content is the game is no longer going to exist and we're wiping it clean because we're restarting with a better game. Like, the commitment to it and the effort put into it is like, holy shit. Like, even outside of just, like, obviously Realm Reborn comes out and people much prefer Realm Reborn over 1.0 and stuff like that. And outside of, like, it's one of the biggest fucking games at the moment for MMOs and stuff like that. Final Fantasy XIV has just blown the fuck up, especially this year. Like, it's been getting bigger and bigger constantly, but this year, like, holy shit. I think there's a thing that I saw on my phone, like a Google alert. Yeah. Since June, the player base of 14 has doubled. What the fuck? It's an MMO. It's not like it would have been a small player base before that. So in the last, like, 5 months, the player base of 14 has doubled. Like, holy shit. Like, the game has blown the fuck up this year. And, like, I decided I was going to play 14 a while ago, but my whole thing was I'm going to wait until Endwalker comes out. Specifically from Densha mentioning it. Densha was just like, if you're just getting into the game now, it's probably best to wait for the big update to come out that changes the way some of the jobs work before you'll learn it for like 3 months and then it changes. Which makes sense to me and stuff like that. And also, it's just, this would be a good jumping in point of just like, Final Fantasy XIV is the hotness of the new expansion, so I'll play it then. But like, give it a week so I can actually get into the game instead of waiting for 1,000 hours in a queue. So all of that. It held that WoW imploded and all the shade players jumped ship, including some major WoW content creators who brought the whole viewer bases with them. So the big one that I know is Asmongold. Has Asmongold dropped WoW entirely, or is he just like playing WoW and 14 alongside of each other? Because he was like the big one that I heard of, just like big fucking WoW WoW personality who just went into 14 and was just like, fuck, this game's good. He's not WoW entirely, but he plays it way less nowadays. That is fucking hilarious. And WoW is copying 14. I did see Pat on Twitter, Castle Super Base Pat stares at Pat. I did see him like showing some screenshots of just like, there is like straight up story elements that are being copied over. I didn't understand any of the story stuff, but he's just like, here's the magic MacGuffin in one of the in one of the 14 parts, and here's the exact same magic MacGuffin in like the newest WoW expansion. And also, like, the WoW expansions apparently also are similar names. Apparently, that like the last 2 WoW expansions were also called Storm something and Shadow something, which, like, holy shit. Holy shit. Yeah, no, that's funny. The thing is, when I was in high school, like, I had a couple people that I knew who were WoW, who were, like, I'm not even going to call them WoW players, because it was more, WoW lifestylers, right? Of people who just dedicated that much fucking time to WoW. Back in high school, I knew some people like that. None of them were my direct friends, because my direct friends were more into either smaller MMOs like MapleStory and stuff like that, or, as I've mentioned, like, several times in the past, playing MOBAs and stuff like that, Hon and Dota. But, like, I knew people who were either relatives of people or people who were in, like, different years of high school where it was just like, yeah, their entire life was WoW. And honestly, and I think that's a big thing that shows the difference in Final Fantasy XIV compared to what WoW was, / probably still is if I had to have a while to guess. The way people who loved WoW, that it was most of their lives, the way they talked about it and the way that WoW affected their lives, there is no advertisement that could convince me to not play World of Warcraft more than those people. Because seeing the way they talked about the game, seeing the way they engaged with the game and interacted with it, I was just like, that sounds horrible. I don't want to do that. And now you skip forward to like fucking 10 years later, and it's just like, people who play Final Fantasy XIV can't shut the fuck up about trying to get other people to play it. It's literally impossible for them to do so. And when they try and convince other people to play it, it's like, you get all of this stuff, and like, it's this good, and they're changing these things to make the experience better for everyone, and it respects your time. I've definitely seen some clips of YouTube of former WoW players deep into 14 now going, where the fuck has this game been for the last X years of my life? I'm not someone who plays MMOs, right? I've played one MMO in my life, and that was RuneScape. Back when RuneScape Classic wasn't called RuneScape Classic, it was just called RuneScape because it hadn't been anything else since then. Like, I don't think I ever had a paid account for for RuneScape. I don't think I did. I know I beat all of the free player content except for maybe the very last thing. But I think I beat everything that was in, like, the free content. This was back, like, I'm talking, like, early fucking RuneScape. This is back when, like, the shield that everyone wanted was the anti-dragon shield that was, like, the orange thing, and that was, like, if you got that, you were fucking serious about RuneScape and shit like that. Like, that's back when I played it, right? And I loved RuneScape. I loved playing the shit out of it. I loved having, like, friends with, playing with them. I liked doing the seasonal events and stuff like that, but also, like, I wasn't at a point where I could devote my entire life to it, so, like, there was a shitload of skills that I never leveled up, because I'm just like, I don't know, I don't have the time for that and stuff like that, so I'm not going to do that. So I have one experience with an MMO, and I really enjoyed it. I've never jumped onto any other MMOs because of the people who I knew who played World of Warcraft and how bad it was, and I'm just like, that sounds like hell. And also, I'm someone where it's not even that I get FOMO in games where you miss content or stuff like that, but it's just like, I hate that shit because I hate what it mentally wants you to do so you don't get the FOMO, so I just don't do it. It's why I don't play games with battle passes. Like, I want to play more Pokemon Unite, but every time I load up that game, I'm just like, oh, but the battle pass system's there, and it drives me away from playing it. And honestly, the biggest thing to convince me to play Final Fantasy XIV, other than I like Final Fantasy VII now because of Remake, and so I'm invested in, like, the concept and the worlds and ideas that Final Fantasy in general has. But hearing the way people talk about Final Fantasy XIV is, this game isn't like other MMOs. You can play it and enjoy it, and it won't kill you. So there's that. The father Final Fantasy Sakaguchi's played through all 14 in a couple weeks. I did see that people were posting on Twitter. It was like interviews or ways he's discussing 14, and he was basically talking about just like, I'm glad that this game exists. This is like where Final Fantasy should be going. This is like if this is the future of Final Fantasy, I am happy that this is the future of Final Fantasy. Like, I saw some of that shit, and it's just like, holy shit, god damn it. Like, the entire fucking team just like, oh my god. He asked Yoshi-P if he could help write for Endwalker, even Yoko Taro asked to help write, or at least design some equipment. Jesus Christ. There's no other success story in video games like Final Fantasy XIV, especially when you consider it started as 1.0. Like, what other games have a game where they're just like, we're literally just gonna hard reboot the entire game. We're literally gonna make, like, a several $1 million cutscene that is nuking the world and restarting the game as a different game a few years down the track. And then it becomes, like, the biggest fucking thing on the planet. It becomes something that can take down World of Warcraft. Like, fucking hell. I saw that he got really into it and kind of no-lifed it, which he gets to do. He's retired. Sakaguchi gets to do what he likes because he's done working on Final Fantasy stuff a while ago, from my understanding. Cat and Bunny Boys of the future. Can we show Miyazaki Vieira's in 2B cosplay? Would that get him to change his mind about anime being a mistake? I feel like that might work. My biggest MMO was City of Heroes. Everyone who played it loved it. It was financial and commercial success. It respected its player base. It was generally fun. You know what happened? It all shut down with no sufficient explanation given. Fun. That is also the worry, and I hope it doesn't happen with this, of the server shut down Monday and you can never play it again. Like, if you're going to do that, make a way for it to work offline. So I'm worried that this game will eventually do that. But hopefully it's successful enough that I'll get through all the content for that event. Let me put it this way. 14.1.0 was so bad it nearly tanked Square Enix all on its own. Okay, to be fair though, I feel like Square Enix is so mismanaged that there has been several projects in the last decade that have nearly bankrupted Square Enix on their own. I feel like I have heard this game nearly destroyed Square Enix a lot. I feel like I have heard this about a lot of different games. But I can understand 14.1.0 doing that because it's an MMO. Like, MMOs require so much investment to make as a game and stuff like that. And also, this was Square Enix how long ago? Like, even when it was 10 years ago, Square Enix was not in the financial position they're in now. Like, Square Enix hasn't been doing so hot across all of its history. There's been some slumps in terms of just, like, nothing's really breaking through and being massively successful, especially with the budgets we're putting into our anime games. City of Heroes has a fan service, at least. It's not the same. Like, if the fandom can do that, then, like, it's better than nothing, but, like, the dev should put out, like, our game is shutting down, here's a way you can continue to play it afterwards. Like, that should still be a thing. I'd say even 1.0 should do that, but Yoshi P's already gone on record saying, no, we're not doing that, and also, like, they literally nuked the game, and it's part of the story, so I don't know about that one. But if you almost either due to lack of, time, money, or friends, just, yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, like, I enjoyed RuneScape. The only reason I stopped playing RuneScape is because I ran out of stuff to do. Because I didn't pay to, I just had the free trial of RuneScape, and I couldn't convince my parents to pay for the rest of RuneScape, and I ran out of content. That's the reason I stopped playing. 11 was massively successful. 14 had expectations to me. If 11 was successful, how much fucking money would they have put into 14, and then for 14 to bomb? Like, Jesus. It was called Final Fantasy for a reason. If it's called Final Fantasy, then how is there 14 Endwalker of them? Doesn't sound so final to me. I stole that joke off Twitter. You want to know how poorly optimized 1.0 was? Famous example is this. Background object, a barrel with some flowers in it that players will walk past and not think about, had the same number of polygons as a player model. Why? Why? Actually, that perfectly segues into a thing that I saw on Twitter literally earlier today about Endwalker. Where is it? There it is! There it is! So we've gone from backgrounds, barrels and flowers have as many polygons as the player model to here's your grapes, bitch! I love this. This is so good. Endwalker grapes! Quick, mods are asleep, post Endwalker grapes. So good. So good. Like, you don't need the background shit to be as modeled as player characters. Just make grape crystals. Who gives a fuck? Final Fantasy was elevating the name for FF1. Hasn't really worked since. It's too late. So that's the irony. They made it because they weren't sure if they could make anything else, and now the name itself is so iconic they can't get rid of it. What if they just one day they release a game that's just called The Real Final Fantasy and it's actually their last game? Curious how much the player models have changed over the years? Hornier. How can you change the character models to look even more horny in the future? And it's probably changed in those ways. Still not as horny as the character models though in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because holy shit. Holy shit, there is no models in video game, like 3D models in video games that are hornier than the fucking Final Fantasy VII Remake models. It's fantastic. Like, you might have noticed that almost every single cutscene was full motion captured, and that's also something that's bloated the budget. Yeah, like, you can see, like, the quality drop when it's not a cutscene like that, but, like, it's either characters... Oh, I mean, this one I'm skipping it. It's either characters just standing there, not in full motion video, not animated at all with text, or full motion video. So there's a couple there, but like full motion video, like I mean, to be fair, this is the exception to the rule because it's literally the end of the game. But like, and even the trailer and like showing off all the primals and stuff. Yeah, like the expansive Expensive shit. In terms of quality and polygon count, there's more models now in 2B's Arse than there was in Snake for Metal Gear 1 or whatever that ridiculous thing is. Regardless of character, there will now be a male and female hero following you. That's how. There will always be horny bunny girls and horny bunny boys. I am scared of loading up because I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy XIV for the first time, like, super recently after the release of Endwalker. And I'm just worried that every single other player character that I come across is just going to be a bunny boy. Every single one of them. And I'm just going to be like, huh, not much diversity going on here. It's just a bunch of bunny boys in thigh-high socks. Sure, instead of PS3, everything else is able to take a step up at least. I forgot that fucking Final Fantasy XIV was originally playable on the PS3. I forgot about that. Was it Heavensward or Stormbringer that was like, we're now cutting off the PS3. If you want to keep up with it, you need to go up to the next console. Was it Heavensward or Stormbringer? And at what point will drop the Stormblood? Stormbringer is fucking the other thing that I'm thinking of. Zubaz. That's Stormbringer. Stormblood. Sorry. Shadowbringer. Devilbringer? I don't know. I'll be honest, the names of the expansions aren't great. I'll be honest, you have Heavensward, Stormblood, Shadowbringer, and Endwalker. It's really easy to get these names confused. They're really bad names for expansions. They all sound the same. They all sound so similar in terms of just edgy word combined with edgy word. They're not the greatest expansion names, I'll be honest about that. Viera and 2B Thigh Highs will slowly but surely Agent Smith the servers. Regardless of gender that is going to happen. It's alright. I will stand strong with my female Rogadin. And literally stand strong and about 3 times the height of all of the other bunny boys running around me. PS3 is already out there when A Realm Reborn came out, but they kind of had to put it on there because they promised that when they announced 1.0 they'd be on PS3, but the game would literally have melted a PS3's hard drive. Well, at what point are they going to drop PS4 support? That's my question. Like, if Final Fantasy XIV continues for another, like, 10 years, at what point during that will they drop PS4 support? Because obviously, like, the power gap between a PS3 and a PS4 is much larger than a PS4 and a PS5. But yeah, when they reach the point that they have to support the PS4 in development, whenever that is. Well, that's what I mean. I think it will take longer for that to happen, just because they're closer in power than a PS3 is, and also the PS3 architecture is trash and probably really hard to develop for, as like everyone has said, including me several times over. I feel bad the PS5 is easy to get, so never got it. Oh goodness. Anyway, I think I know there's the end of the era video, but like we saw that. Hey Riggs, we're watching Final Fantasy XIV YouTube videos. How is life? Life is soon not going to exist anymore because starting next week I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV, so it's going to be nothing but that. So life will be good. It's just nothing that. End of era was covered by the end of that recap. That's what I mean. I don't think there's anything in this cutscene that wasn't shown in the recap, so I don't think we actually need to watch it. It's gonna take a minute. I'm starting with because the thing is, like, I'm not even going to be playing 14 on stream, like, as consistently as other games, because it's just, I want to do so many other games and other projects and stuff like that. But, like, if I play Final Fantasy XIV, like, once every 2 weeks on stream, it's going to take me a year to beat every expansion. Fucking Demon World expansion is going to come out before I even get to Stormblood, or whatever the names are of these things. There's so much Final Fantasy. I mentioned it earlier. I want to play other Final Fantasy games that aren't Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy XIV, but oh my god, I don't like. There's so many. Just never get to level 60, but I want to do the expansion. Okay, if I enjoy the game enough, I'll want to do the expansion. I'm not making any promises, by the way, that I'm going to beat everything. If I don't like the game, I will drop it. I don't think I will not like it, but I'm not going to promise I'm gonna play 1,000 hours of this game that I don't like. It's an MMO that's like a very different game to what I normally play. There is no guarantee that I'm even going to enjoy this when I get to it. But I think I will based on what I've seen. And side quest, that is like, it'll be a question that I'll ask people as we actually do the LP, but like, I know these games have a fuck ton of side content because they're MMOs and they're RPGs and they're Final Fantasies. Like, everything that has dialogue and talking to people want to see every bit of that on stream, and me take several years to do a single expansion. I don't know. I don't know. If FF11 was made the PS2 of mine, it was not going to get the game running. I mean, because getting the PS2 online is a thing that I still don't believe happens. Is a thing that can happen. Copies came with the PS2 network, which had to manually install into the back of the fat PS2. Yeah, in the wheat stash, hidey hole. FF11 was one of the only games to use that Scarp. PS2 Slim could not support 11 at all because it didn't have a spot to hide your weed. As people say, if you don't bounce off the game by A Realm Reborn, you become a walking advertisement by Heavenswood. Yeah. That's it. Just saying, once you start paying, might want to play it more often. By the time I start paying for the game, I'll have cleared up a lot of other games that I can dedicate more time to it. It's just I'm currently in a process where I have so many things that I want to clear and get through, so I can just focus on having like 4 unfinished games that I'm going at a time as opposed to 12 dozen. So, but like, by the time I get through all of the other stuff that I have, that I've got a way more manageable schedule, I will, like, then I'll be playing 14 way more frequently. And by that time, I'll have to pay for the subscription, because I'll be... Well, actually, no, that's by the end of Heavenswood. I'm not getting to the end of Heavenswood before the end of 2023, and we all know this. Just remember to enter in someone's recruiter Franco before doing your first subscription. I didn't realize that. Does that give them free shit? Does anyone want to give me free shit? Does anyone want to, like, I encouraged you to buy the game? Totally it was me. Yeah. As for side quests, just random side questing does make for interesting stream content or interesting actual game content for me, but it's not a random side quest I never touch. Game clearly marks side quests that actually are important and unlock shit. Okay. So, like, if I just do random bullshit side quests that don't mean anything off camera, I'll, like, make progress in leveling characters, get some extra, like, little things and stuff like that. But if it's important, it tells you. Okay. Gives the recruiter and recruitee some stuff. Ooh, free shit. I like free shit. That's why I'm playing. It's why I'm playing the free trial. It goes up to level 60, including A Realm Reborn and the award-winning expansion Heavenswood. Yeah. But we're doing that next week. Get ready for, like, I'm gonna stream for, like... If I enjoy it, which it'll be the first stream, I won't know whether I enjoy it or not, because it's a MMO. But, like, next week, I'll be actually doing Final Fantasy XIV. We'll be trying to do Final Fantasy XIV if we can get into the queue. Hopefully by that point it's quieting down a little bit. If not, we'll wait until the week afterwards. But, we'll be starting. I've got my female Rogan in. I'm playing on PS5. So I'll have to, like, get the deets for my character made. So I can do that quickly when we get to the PS5 version of the game. We're gonna start. I'm gonna stream for like 6 hours minimum, I'll say, for Final Fantasy XIV next week. And that will be like our starting point. Be excited. You don't have a choice in the matter. I'm legally requiring you all to be excited. It's the start of probably the series on my channel that's going to have the single most amount of time dedicated to it, unless you count all of Yakuza games that I'm going to be doing as all that. I feel like if we get everyone in chat together, we're going to have a lot of different characters, and it's going to be so sick. We're going to have, from memory, Densha is Catgirl, and Densha's partner is Dragon Girl. Deku has a potato, and I can carry every other character in the team on the arms of the giant female Rogadin that is my character. And we will yell and demand that we can have the potato use my female Rogadin as a mount in battle. Oh, okay, the other way around. You play the Dragon Girl and your partner plays the Bun. Okay, I got the order mixed up. You always show like waifu photos on the Discord, and I keep getting confused whose is whose. Okay. Anyway, Ow! I'm hurting my hand. I am out of here. I will see you all next week for Final Fantasy XIV, the critically acclaimed MMORPG that has a free trial up to level 60, including A Realm Reborn and the award-winning expansion Heavensward. I'm definitely missing some details in that, but I'll be able to remember next time because I'll be wearing the shirt that says that. So, until then, this is version 2, signing out.
Now